I shouldn't have had so much coffee. I feel like.
So this is my friend Bailee O'Brien. She is a former Thunder cheerleader. She is now coaching through energetic wellness. She has her own class that she teaches, Native Movement, and that's just a little bit about her. Do you have anything that you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I also work with a conscious collaborative group of women, the House of Pleiades, and we just launched a website as well as a podcast that will be starting the end of this month. So
yeah.
I'm super excited for that. Our first episode is touching on authenticity, so which is kind of, I think, exactly what we'll be talking about today too. So
yeah, it's very important. So Bailee, I know that you are a fitness enthusiast yourself. So why don't you kind of go into your background with that and how you kind of got into fitness and what it did for you?
Yeah, honestly, I never really was into fitness, or I wasn't really educated in fitness until I decided to audition for a professional NBA dance team. So prior to that, I would always just watch my mom work out, or some of my friends worked out, and I was just like, okay, cool, let's run, or like I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
And I've never even really thought like, oh, I need to lose weight. So I had no idea what that even was until I auditioned for the Thunder and I made the team, and so that's where the education came in and the true passion for being healthy and exercising and just learning about the body came into play.
Yeah. So whenever you started for Thunder, did it kind of hit you all at once? Like, oh my gosh, this is all so much information in such a little time. Did you feel that at all?
Definitely. I mean, I was on the team for 4 years, so each year I learned something new about fitness and my health. But yeah, at first it was a big eye-opener because I had never really worked out before. I didn't really know what eating healthy was. So to learn all those things real quick and have to follow them, it was challenging at first. And to kind of shift and change your whole way of being, that was another challenge. But once I started feeling and seeing the benefits, that's where I was like, okay, it's worth it. And I wanted to learn more, and my curiosity for health and fitness just continued to grow.
So what did that do for you whenever you made the team? I mean, were you so like ecstatic? I know that you were super young then, even more so. How did that feel?
Yes. I'll just kind of back up and kind of tell you the whole process of making the team. I did pom in high school. I danced growing up. So when I graduated high school, I was going to go to Oklahoma State University in Stillwater. I tried out for their pom team, didn't make it. So I lived a year just living a college life, not dancing, not doing anything, aka partying. And a friend of mine, Shauna, she reached out to me and was like, hey, I think you would be great at this team, you should try out. She had done it that previous year. I had no idea what the Thunder even was and what Thunder Girls did or what they do. But I knew that they danced, I knew my friend did it, and some of the other girls in my community from Moore who dance, I knew they were on the team too. So why not? Like, I have nothing to lose. My first year I had zero expectations. If I make it, cool. If I don't, I have no idea what I'm even getting into anyways. So I just decided to take a risk, and my first year I made it.
Is it a big deal to make it your first time?
Without...
I know you're modest, don't worry about it, but just isn't it kind of a big deal, right? People try like once, twice, 3 times.
I guess especially for me in the sense of I hadn't, like I said, there was really no expectations. I hadn't been working out. I really hadn't been in contact with any of those people in that dance community in over a year or two. So I was kind of behind, and then there were other girls who had to retry out. So it's like I took someone's spot that was a previous Thunder Girl. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a crazy experience to just, know that.
So you didn't have any expectations going into it. And so what was your actual experience like then?
So I want to start by saying too, this is my experience entirely, my truth, what I experienced, my opinions. Other women that were a part of that same experience, their truth is going to be different because that's their experience. And we're all on a different conscious level too. So how we perceive something is completely different than how someone else does. So that's kind of my disclaimer there. But yeah, so getting into it, again, it's a complete shift of what I was used to, especially, taking care of your health and things like that. And yeah, I was 19 years old when I tried out, so that's the thing too, is I was young, and you had to completely change the way that you acted. I remember I had to delete things on Facebook because, it demonstrated that I like to drink and party. It's not really a good look as an ambassador to the city if you're drinking underage or things like that.
Right.
But that was my past, and I'm very fortunate that they were able to see past that and, see what I'm capable of. So just going into that and realizing like, okay, I have to be ladylike. I have to be an ambassador now.
Yeah.
I have to
turn on the pageant girl, baby.
Yes,
yeah,
I have to speak and know what's going on at all times, and like current issues and the basketball team.
Wow,
everything.
current issues, all of that?
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially if you're getting asked by a fan or you're doing any kind of public interview or things like that. You have to know, and you have to be able to hold yourself well. So it was really actually great. The skills that I had to learn.
Yeah.
Time management, you have no idea. Just managing a full-time job or school, practices, games, like all of it. And then time just for yourself. And then, shifting into that new way of being that fits inside this box of exactly kind of that pageant, like this is who I am,
right.
This is who we are, this is how, we have to be in the public eye.
So it sounds like there has been some positive things that have came out of this that have made you into a stronger person. You kind of had to carry yourself a certain way. But I can only imagine that there's also some hard things that come with so much pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it's like everyth's coming at me at once. The hardest part was the weight situation. Every organization is different to how they run their entertainment side of things.
Okay.
And I want to say too, when you audition, they pick girls who all look differently. There's no one there that looks the same. We're all curvy. We're all different sizes.
Yeah.
That's what's beautiful about it, is every girl is different. But we are each held accountable for our own weight and the way that we look and the way, down to our hair, to our makeup. That's just them doing their job. They were hired to do that. I was a little overweight at the time, overweight for their standard. Like I said, jumping from a time in my life where I was never aware of, taking care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and then coming to a place where everything was just thrown at you at once, and you had to kind of mold yourself to be a certain way. And so I just went with it. And so from there, it was like, okay, I have to be a certain size, I kind of have to look a certain way. And then, if you had more cellulite sometimes,
Yeah. I know with my weight, with my experience in competing, there was a lot of outside pressure, but you kind of take that in and you kind of create an obsession. Did that ever kind of reflect or kind of take control?
Yeah, I developed body dysmorphia, and my self-esteem was so low. In my mind, I thought it was high because it was like, I'm getting, like here I am being healthy and I'm on the Thunder and like, look at me, world.
Yeah.
So everything was so external, and I was so crazy obsessed with how many calories am I eating, how much am I working out. I don't want people to take this either as, oh, she just doesn't want to work hard. It's just, you're finding your way of being healthy. So yeah, when I noticed that I had body dysmorphia, I was in it, so I didn't know that that's what was truly happening.
I feel like whenever you're in a place that you have body dysmorphia, you can't afford to acknowledge that because you're not in a place that you can fix it. You're like, no way can I dial back a little bit. I have too much pressure on me. I can't even go there in this thought right now because I can't address it.
Right.
I have to be a certain way. You probably have to post on social media, I bet. So you post that you're confident and people kind of see you out, but you're kind of battling this on the inside. Did that kind of disconnect with who you were publicly and kind of what you were battling internally kind of affect you?
Oh, that's a good question. So this inner calling of, okay, I'm not being true to myself, really, I didn't develop that until maybe beginning of my last season, my 4th season. So that's really where things started to rise for me, where I was just like, okay, this doesn't feel right anymore. I don't feel like I'm truly taking care of my mind and my body that I once thought I was. I found yoga. And so that's what really led me to go inside myself.
Yeah.
And that is truly what allowed that inner calling to rise and be like, this isn't for you. I realized it. And so it was that kind of, I decided to stop taking things, again, externally, and I started working on things internally. And truly, too, that's probably when the lowest time of my life happened at that same time, was when I had to be benched for my weight for pretty much my entire last season. We can even talk here a little bit more, too. I competed in my first bikini fitness competition while on Thunder. It was one of those things where I was like, well, I did this, I did that, let's try this. Sure, I'll do a bikini competition. So it's like my body, my mentality, everything was just up and down.
Did you experience a rebound afterwards?
Absolutely. So yeah, so I did the, working out, eating, even more so clean or strict than I was even before Thunder.
Right.
And then had to try out again. And so I was like, okay, I got one more year left in me. My third year was probably my best year on the team. Like, I was just ready to keep kind of going. And so my fourth year, everything changed. I gained 10 pounds so fast. I remember not kind of noticing it or not even wanting to notice that that's what had happened.
Right.
Because you go from being literally that
Little
stage
bitty.
ready, super, super lean person, and then all of a sudden I just had all this like extra weight where I really had no muscle tone at all. And again, so I just kind of kept pushing it down, like, no, I still look the same, until I got that email that was like, okay, you need to kind of step it up a little bit on, your eating and things like that. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm still doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still eating just as I've always been eating. I'm still working out just as much, if not more, once I got that email. If not more, was I so more obsessed with how I was eating because I got that email that it was like, you basically aren't good enough to be on the stools. If you aren't on the stools, you're up in the suites doing visits. And then when you got to the point where I did, you weren't allowed to do suites. You weren't allowed to dance. At one point, I didn't even go to practice anymore. And that's where the depression really set in. I went and got my thyroid checked. I did blood tests because I was like, what is wrong with me? And that's where it kind of hit me too. Like, I would look at myself in the mirror and I would just cry because I'm like, I was literally just this person. No matter my hard work that I put in, my 3 years prior to that, none of that matters because I'm 10 pounds over. And
I'm seeing so much of myself in your experience. That almost making me emotional. Man, this is really, like, I'm really connecting to this right now. Did you almost connect to being a Thunder cheerleader as if it were your identity? Because I know I did with that competing, so whenever that was taken away from me, it was like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I felt like I lost myself.
Just you saying that.
Yeah.
Yes, I was so depressed that season when I was put on weight probation, and so I literally felt lost. I didn't know whether I wanted to move away. I didn't know, and I had just started this beautiful relationship, the relationship I'm in now. And so luckily I had that, and I still had my support of friends and family to be there to help kind of guide me and uplift me, because I was in such a dark place. After that is when I decided, like, I'm never going to do this. I'm so done with Thunder. And that is probably one of my biggest regrets I have right now, is that I let just my life. That's how I went out. And so then I felt like I sunk to an even deeper place of, what do I do now? Who am I? What do I want to do? What can I even do now? Mm-hmm. So it's like, you're stripped away completely from your ego, your identity, and it's like, okay, I have no choice but to go within and figure this shit out.
Yeah. Going back to, like, you kind of coming out of your depression, do you remember any, like, early moments that you had in your practice of yoga that were just, like, super emotional, super soulful, that kind of, like, took you through?
Now you're gonna make me cry.
Okay.
I remember just, like, it was always Shavasana too, so that's like the end of your practice. The yoga instructor I had at the time, she would say things that were just so profound, that spoke to me so deeply. I just felt like, I'm home. I'm home inside myself. I'm home, like, with just where I'm at in life. Like, I finally understood that, I don't know, that everything's a journey, and like that was just part of my journey.
It kind of like connected you to a sense of self-worth and worthiness so that you could overcome like, Thunder Girl is not my only identity, I'm worth so much more.
Knowing the women that I still see and talk to on a regular basis after leaving Thunder, I feel like we're all kind of in that identity crisis together. And it's like when you finally come out of it, you're like, oh shit, who am I? And I think a lot of that too is because a lot of us are on the team in our early 20s. And so that's such a huge time for self-discovery. I'm just so amazed at the things that these women are doing. It's like they finally have found their calling, their true, authentic selves after going through that. You learn so many great skills that you can take with you in life, but then there were a few of us who really had to go through some dark, bad stuff.
So definitely, so like anyone watching this right now, you're kind of going through something similar. A lot of times those things happen to you so that you can come out and be molded a different person. And if you're going through some hard stuff, it could very well be because you have a higher purpose and you're going through this because you have to learn something to be a teacher, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's exactly kind of where I'm at now, is like that was what I experienced. And I do have people who are going through similar things like that, and they come to me and they're like, help me, like what have you done in order to get to the place that you've gotten? And it's like, you have to go through, you have to do the work, you have to go through those dark times in order to get where you want to be.
Really, you kind of have to go through life and accumulate these experiences, and it's just happening to shape you.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm so happy that you are in like such a amazing, honestly glowy place. I was actually talking about it with a friend the other day. I feel like you're, like the past year or two, I feel like you're just like glowing from the inside out.
Thank you. Well, and I think that's it. It's like I've come to know my own self-worth and to love myself. 5 years ago, what? No makeup?
No way.
I gotta have my full lashes, nails done, all of that. And not to say that's knocking anyone else. Like if that's what empowers you, do it. Do what empowers you. And so I'm just trying to get to a place that helps give permission to women to do what makes them happy.
I think that that's a great point. Empowerment looks different on everyone. As women, you know, we're told be a stay-at-home mom or be a businesswoman. But it's not a same size fits all. So you can be empowered in so many different ways. And I think as women, it's just important for us to come together and support each other in our own journeys. So I think that that's really a culture that we need to cultivate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The feminine rising.
Let's do it. Tell me where you're at now and kind of what you're doing. We want to know.
So, oh man. And so I work for a naturopathic doctor, do energetic wellness, which is a holistic health center. And I do classes in the movement studio. I do some of their marketing. I do all kinds of stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at now, is I'm taking that a step further, and I'm about to start a Doctor of Naturopathy program. In the meantime, I'm just still focusing on my classes and really building my brand of Native movement, which I'm also super excited because I really want men to be a part of this too.
Yeah.
I think it's the balance of the masculine and feminist.
So all levels are welcome. You just want to have to grow as a human being is the only requirement, really.
Absolutely.
So what do you want people to know about you that they don't get to see on social media?
Just behind the scenes, and I know so many people can relate to this, is like here I am on my phone trying to edit, and my boyfriend's over here like, okay, like let's hang out now, put your phone down. So that probably has been something that's keeping me mindful. It's hard to balance it all. It's hard to balance social media and my real life and my relationship and just everything into it, and I feel so obligated sometimes, like okay, I have to post for my business.
I think it's really important for you guys to keep in mind that you need to use social media as a tool to help you, and don't let social media use you.
So I guess something too that people don't know about me, I don't eat as healthy as what people see, I guess, that I've posted on social media.
Yeah.
I don't really eat processed foods. I try my best. I've got brownies sitting in there that I made the other night. I just want to be more real with that. It's just moderation.
You know, being too obsessive about just eating healthy, that's actually considered a disorder as well. And so I think it's important to not obsess or kind of let anything take over your life. What is the point of having like a healthy body and all that if you're not enjoying life in it?
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much. So you can take her classes at Energetic Wellness, and she will be becoming a naturopathic doctor soon, so be on the lookout for that. And she also does privates too, so I will drop her Instagram name below. And so yeah, hit her up.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for hanging out. Yeah.